Good to go. We'll go ahead and get started. This has been round 12, Gillette Stadium. Tonight, you'll hear from our 450, 250 East, and SMX Next podiums. Please stick around for all three. Do have a special announcement to make. This just in, we have 8 of the 10 most streamed of all-time super motocross races have happened this season in 2025. And also compared to 2024 at this time, there's been a 21% increase in viewership. So that's a great sign of health for our sport. We love to see that. Quick rules of the room before we get started. If you could please state your name and affiliation, as well as pass that mic around after you ask a question. We'll get to as many of you as possible. So without further ado, our 450 podium, Aaron Plessinger, Shane McElrath, and Cooper Webb. Aaron Plessinger, 7 for 7. The attitude, always good. You were expected to do well tonight, but to have gotten it done. You know, positive attitude throughout the day, but as you're at that start line, was that positive attitude, was it still there truly?
Yeah, I mean, I was nervous because in a mud race, you never really know what's going to happen. You can be as confident as you can be, but when that gate drops, you never really know what's going to happen. Like in the 250 race, the big crash in the first turn. So you just got to be ready. You just got to be ready. You just got to be alert. And if you make it out of the first turn clean, you just got to push to the front, and get to the front as soon as you can if you didn't get the whole shot. So that's what I just tried to do. I tried to keep it on 2 wheels after I got into the front, and knew Shane was right behind me for a second, and then after I got the lead, I just kind of cruised it on in. I mean, it was a tough cruise. It wasn't easy by any means. Boots were getting stuck in the mud. Lappers everywhere, and it was tough, but I had a lot of fun.
Congratulations again, the 7th 450 winner we've seen this season, first time since 1997 we've had that. Questions from the media, Adam.
Adam from Track Talkers. This one's for Cooper Webb. I mean, I'm looking back at the race, and the instant memory that I'm going to have for about at least 2 weeks is you almost tire tapping your teammate's head. Take us through that moment. And then also talk about what's that mindset on the last lap to bring it up that much. You know what I mean? We see you, obviously, everybody talks about Cooper Webb's good at the end, but that was like a full flip of a switch. And for the lack of a better phrase, it looked like do or die to me a little bit. Take us through that.
Yeah, it was scary with my teammate, Justin. It was one of those things where I wasn't sure what to do. I had been jumping those 2 doubles, and he didn't that lap, and I had just fallen, so I was getting up all panicked, and he went down the middle, and I went far right, and as you know, in the mud, you're all over the place, and he kind of dipped a little right, and it was probably inches from hitting him. I had a panic rev going, and he ducked, and I probably missed him by a millimeter, and definitely not trying to do that. It was definitely a bummer, but we got lucky, for sure. But the second part of the question was definitely a do-or-die situation. I think once, like I said, I ended up falling twice. So once I finally got up and regrouped, it was almost like a F it attitude, and just kind of charged forward. I stayed jumping those jumps, which saved me. And I saw like 3 to go. I saw 4, and it was just kind of like blood in the water. But it's hard because it's not a normal race. It's not fitness or how bad do you want it or anything like that. You got to be smart and also fast and efficient and dodge lappers, and my clutch was gone, so it's hectic. So I think it was a mix of all that, but like you said, a do or die situation where I figured if I could get him, it's going to be a good swing on the points. And I ended up getting him and JB, and then I didn't even know what happened to Kenny. I just know I went from literally like 7th to 3rd somehow in a matter of like 2 laps.
Michael.
Yeah, Michael Antonovich with Course Heading. Coop will stick with you. Kenny is not actually very happy right now. Sounds like they're going to lodge a protest about you getting the podium for jumping on the Red Cross flag. Do you have anything to say about that, especially in the conditions of the night?
Yeah, I think there was guys down all night, and I think when these red flags were coming on, at least from my memory of it, there was a guy that got stuck, and as I'm up the jump face, jumping the jump committed in the mud, I saw the light flash on right there. So I think for me, obviously it wasn't intentional. It's one of those things that you're a pro racer. We're all pro athletes. We're very aware of our surroundings, and when they come up right on the face of the jump, it's then I think kind of up to rider call or AMA call, whatever that is. But I think there was some situations, a few situations, it sounds like, too. It wasn't just me getting protested. So we'll see.
Scott.
Shane, we saw you do quite well last year in the mud at San Francisco. Is this something you feel comfortable in, like seeing the mud? And how did these conditions compare to SF lap?
Yeah, I think I kind of grew up riding in the mud. It's not unfamiliar to me, and that's where I think there's a lot of times where I'm a really patient racer, sometimes a little too patient, and that's something I'm definitely trying to work on. But a track like tonight is something where patience is really big, unless you got AP's legs and mullet. But yeah, it's tonight was really tough. San Fran was, I think, equally tough, but different still. Tonight, for sure, once the rain stopped, like the heat race, getting out front, it was like the first couple laps, I'm like, oh, dude, like this feels pretty good. But literally every lap, the track was getting worse, and like my bike's getting heavier, and my seat's getting slippery, and my boots are getting heavier. So it was kind of similar in the main, and thankfully they actually did quite a bit of track work. I think that really helped out, but it was literally the second lap where we've got these ruts where we're now having to paddle through. So it's definitely tricky. But today it was really, this week was for me working on my mentality, trying to go into the deep end a little bit, just growing and learning. And this class is really tough. And coming into today, it was like a new mindset. And then when the rain was kind of for sure here, it's like, okay, there's good opportunity here, and it's time to put this stuff to work. So that was kind of the culmination of it.
Mitch Kendrick, Racetracks. Shane, we'll stick with you for this one. I felt like you had the good starts and the confidence. Was that, you mentioned the conditions and the mindset, but did you know that a good start and then like that would just give you confidence in the heat race and carry it over? You just was like an emphasis tonight?
Yeah, I think so. Last weekend, I really had a tough race all around. I was struggled in those conditions a little bit, but my main, I had a really good start. I just got pushed off the track in the first corner, and that was something where, in hindsight, that was a little bit of a mental mistake right at the last second to take that gate out there. It was there far inside, and the thing is, like, I'm a good starter, and I need to believe in that, and I need to put that to work. And so this week it was like we're working on that, and then coming into today, especially like after qualifying, it's like I had a pretty good time, and then the heat race, it's like, okay, what is the optimal gate for me, instead of, oh, where should I go like I normally would. And yeah, having first the heat race and then getting second gate pick for the main, it was like, hey, what gate is the whole shot gate? And that was kind of my mentality, and is kind of breaking the mold of how I've done things in the past.
We'll give our opportunity to media online to join the conversation, starting with Jamie Guida.
Jamie Guida, Vital MX. Let's go to Aaron Plessinger. Congrats on your second pro career Supercross win. Man, yeah, just take us through how gnarly it was. I think you kind of touched on it in the first question, but a lot different than your San Diego win.
Yeah, San Diego was a little muddy. This was a whole different breed. Man, when, like Shane said, when the rain stopped, the mud just tacked up, and it got so heavy, and it was almost like when your foot touched the ground, it almost wanted to stick there. And so it was really, really important to, if you had skis out, keep them right above the mud. And yeah, it's hard to explain, but unless you were out there. I know in the heat race, my dad was texting my wife telling me to stand up, and I wish he was here, because that was it was a lot harder of a task than any other old mud race. So no, it was just kind of like slot car racing. You just picked a rut and stayed in it for the rest of the the rest of the section. But no, it felt really, really good. It honestly today doesn't feel like a real Supercross because we only had one practice. We were sitting around till about 1:30, and yeah, it just feels like a weird day. But that main event really took it out of me. I'm pretty tired now, and yeah, I'm gonna go rest up tonight and rest happy.
Good prep for the Ironman GNCC.
Yes, sir.
Ryan.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan. It's so much cycling news. I'll stick with Aaron on this one. Can you just take us through that first lap? It seems like everyone was just learning the track and looking where to go, and you were the only rider like really racing and going for it.
Yeah, I knew when I didn't get the whole shot, I knew I had to pin it to the front, or else my goggles were going to be destroyed. I picked tear-offs for the main event, so I didn't get any water under my roll-offs, and they not work anymore. So I knew I had to get to the front quick, and yeah, just in that condition, when the track's still fresh like that, I mean, as fresh as, you know, they bladed it with the dozer. It was still deep, but you can kind of push it and not really worry about the ruts because some of them are gone. But you gotta look ahead because they like to the back blade a little bit behind the start of the rut, so you'll be going through a flat section and then you come into the rut. So it's a little bit sketchy. So you got to look forward. But now that first lap, I just knew I had to get to the front, and I kind of was worried about my clutch during the end of the race because that first lap I was really giving her the beans.
Nick Still.
Yeah, thank you. Nick Still with MotoOnline.com. This will be for Cooper. Coop, obviously it's hard on a night like this with weather, but 5 rounds left, 15 points in the championship. At what point can you look at it and go, okay, I can start to manage this thing, things can work a little bit easier for me? Is that something you start looking at in the coming weeks?
No, I don't think so. It's still a little early. I mean, and tonight was a proven point of that, right? Like anything can happen in the mud. It could have been erased single-handedly tonight. So, yeah, I don't think so. I mean, especially, you know, with all these open stadiums we have left, you never know what's going to happen. And I think that's just the wrong mentality to have. I mean, yeah, I think I'm a pretty smart racer. I'm always good at managing risk versus reward. So for me, I'm just going to go for it and put myself in good positions, and I think that's what gets the job done.
Justin.
Yeah, thanks, Justin Schuler with Athlon Sports. Shane, I want to go to you. This is your first podium, if I remember correctly, if my stats are right, but your first podium in the 450 class. So not the most usual conditions, obviously, but how much more of a challenge is it to get a podium in this kind of conditions, and does that mean more when you're able to outlast all these others who have, you know, get podiums maybe left and right? But what does that mean for you personally?
It's good. It's confirmation. It's encouraging. I said on the podium tonight that this is the first time in my 450 career of now 4 or 5 years that my whole program seems to be working together and seems to be really kind of the same goal. I know it's kind of odd to hear that, but it's like if everything is kind of pieced together, the accountability is not really there, and the communication is really not there, and that's where at this level in the sport it takes a whole team, and I mean, all the teams that are ahead of us are full factory teams with full personnel, and we're kind of the little engine that could. So it's really good. Like you said, tonight is kind of a different opportunity. It does feel the same as it does in the 250 class, but tonight was about opportunity, and that's where kind of like Coop said, it can go either way, and kind of putting your best foot forward today, that I knew that was gonna be a big part of the battle. So yeah, I'm pretty pumped on it, and we're gonna keep working. It's been a long A long road, really. My 450 career has not been really, well, to me it's been super subpar, and I feel like I can still race a dirt bike good, and that's what I'm going to continue to work on.
So what's that next step then? Because you're talking about like it's helping the team, it's giving you that encouragement, that confirmation. So what is that next domino to fall? What's that next step for you and the team?
Honestly, this year has been a really big year of building. Really working with the Quad Lock Honda team. Like, it's, for me as a racer, like I want things to happen quick. And this year, like we've had super steady growth. I think the communication's getting better. Our resources are really good, and we're just a small team, and we don't really get to do things as fast. So that's really, for me, trying to be patient with the changes that I'm requesting, and it's like sometimes it might take 2 weeks for something to get done, and that's what we're working on, but that's also kind of what we're dealt with. So for me, it's like we got 4 or 5 more rounds in this season, and we're still picking up momentum, and that's where, for me, I'm normally good the second half of the season, and we've really kind of been, okay, where are we at, and what's the next little step that we got to take? And that was like this week, really working mentally. It's like, hey, we've got to unlock something to find a few more tenths or a half a second, because that next group, the guys are just getting better, and that's where it's like I believe that I'm one of those guys, but we gotta continue striving. And tonight was a good opportunity to get a podium, but I'm going to keep working because I want to do this in a normal Supercross too.
Cool. Thanks. Congrats on the podium.
I have time for one more for these guys. Nick B.
Hey, thanks, Haley. It's Nick Blackman with Winners Take Y'all. First off, all you guys, congratulations on a hell of a ride. Hey, Pete, did you do, was there much that you changed as far as bike setup between the heat race and the main, or was that just more a decision to skin it back?
I just went a little bit softer on everything. It wasn't like huge changes, but I just told the guys I needed a little bit more feel, and I was struggling a little bit to stand up in the heat race. So yeah, I just told them to soften everything up, and I'll let her eat, because really in this stuff, the team really can't help you that much. It's just a kind of survival and get a start and try to get out front. So, yeah, the rest is pretty much up to you.
Thank you, gentlemen. We'll see you in Philly. Aaron Plessinger, your winner tonight. Shane McElrath, first career 450 podium, and Cooper Webb maintaining a points lead. And from here, like I just mentioned, we're going to Philadelphia next weekend. And then after that, 2 more weeks here in the East Rutherford, New Jersey, then Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And from there, we go to Denver and Salt Lake City to wrap up the Monster Energy AMA Supercross season. You can find more info at supercrosslive.com. Okay, we're going to dive right into our 250 Eastern Division. Chance Hymas with his first career Supercross win. Cullen Park and Gage Linville. Chance now to be an established winner in both Pro Motocross and Supercross. I think for fans to fully appreciate the magnitude of this moment, they have to understand the scope of these last 14 months alone for you. So just give us that story, if you can summarize it, and just how much this means to you to be here now.
Yeah, I don't even really know where to start there. First off, racing all last year with no ACL in my knee. Really only doing 8 races my rookie year, so I had to do a lot of catch-up last year, and then missing out on Motocross of Nations last year with my knee, and the rest of SMX got that fixed, and the goal was just to possibly make Tampa, or come halfway through the series. So, yeah, once we got to Tampa, it was just like, all right, let's learn each weekend and let's see what we can do. And clicked off my best finish of my career at Daytona with a 4th, and it kind of went downhill for me after that. I think I was just getting too greedy with what I wanted, and having really only 2 weeks on the bike before Tampa didn't help at all. So, and especially with the new bike this year, it's quite a bit different than last year's bike. So on top of getting my personal health back to 100%, it's also I'm trying to develop a new bike. So I had a good team behind me, and we worked our butts off to get where we're at right now. And hopefully this is just the start of a good trend going forward. But yeah, it means a lot to me. It means a lot to the people around me. I mean, they've seen me at my lowest, and there's a lot of hard work that goes in. And there's times that you don't feel like this is ever possible, and those are the days that you push the hardest, and you always have that belief that you can do it. Because times like this, I don't want to say they're rare, but it doesn't happen very often. So you got to appreciate it a little bit more than usual, I would feel like.
What you've overcome and what you've accomplished, it's incredible. Congratulations. Questions from the media, Adam?
Adam from Track Talkers. If Colin and Gage, if you guys both have a chance to answer this, I'd love it. But this is the biggest moment in your guys' career thus far. When I see you guys crossing the finish line and getting the podium, I kind of reflect on my career and like what that would mean if I was up there on the podium like you guys. What are the moments that you guys look back on and go, that was the turning point, that's what got me here, and who are you thinking about when you cross the finish?
Yeah, for me, it was honestly last year, probably right around this time, I'd say I hit rock bottom in my career, and even off the track. I was in a dark place. I got hurt at round 1 last year, and I felt like I was in a good spot. And so to get hurt at round 1 and then have nothing to show for it, it was just a huge bummer for me. So, yeah, and then I almost didn't even have a ride this year and got signed. And my first day on the bike was, I think, January 1st. So little prep, and, dude, I have a very small group of people around me that's in my corner that I really lean on. And when you're in those dark times, my parents, Heath Harrison, Jason Fowler, and my trainer Blake Savage. I have a really good group they have my back in the good and the bad, and that's most important. And my mechanic Chris, he's been with me since 2017. So yeah, I mean, for me to cross that finish line, I'll be honest, on the last lap, I was like, dude, just don't mess this up at this point. Like, holy crap, I made it this far. And I didn't know where third was either. I didn't even know who was in third because the pylon thing was shut off during the race, so I didn't know anything. And I knew I was in second, and the track's treacherous, so I was just trying to stay up. And when I crossed that finish line, I was trying to blow my bike up. I'll be honest, I was gassed up, and it was for second. It's kind of lame, but I was stoked. Yeah, I was stoked.
Yeah, no, for me it was probably this off season. It was definitely not an ideal season last year, and I was tired of being the guy who was a 9th place in a heat race and possibly an LCQ guy. I didn't like that feeling, and we worked really hard on that this off season. And even all the rounds before this, I say I felt better, but I've still been the 7th, 8th place guy. And my finishes have not been good at all. I started out pretty good with the 12th, and then it was a 14th and a DNF and a 20th, and at some point this has to change. And coming into tonight, I didn't know what was going to happen with the mud. I'm not a really good mud rider at all, so I was a little nervous. And I felt good all day. The heat race, I think I got 6th, and that was I was pretty pumped with that. That's my best finish. And the main event, I went down in the first turn, and I was really close to just pulling in. As a privateer, didn't want to destroy my bike for next weekend. But I said I can't quit. And I had no clue what position I was in the whole race. My mechanic, we didn't even use the pit board, and he gave me hand signals, believe it or not. And I came around, and he just gave me thumbs down in the first lap. And after that, he started giving me thumbs up. And the last 4 laps, I knew I passed some people. And my best career finish has been 11. So my goal was I got to get top 10. So when I crossed the line, I thought, okay, maybe I'm close to the 10th mark. And the last 3 laps, he just didn't even give me no signal. So I'm like, well, we'll just go for it for there. And I came off, and they told me that I was in third, and it was like I still can't believe it.
So you didn't know you were in third until you went to your mechanic?
Yeah, until the checkered flag. I thought I was hoping for a 10th place. I knew I passed some guys. I didn't know how many, so I was really hoping for maybe a top 10, and that would have been a win in my book. So,
wow, congratulations, guys.
Michael.
Michael Antonovich with course heading. This will be for Chance. Can you take us through first 3 laps of the main event? Because you guys don't see the track. Everybody opts to go out or not go out for the sighting lap. You see the SMX guys go out, 2 LCQs, 450 heat races. It's a completely different track than when you went out there. How do you go through those first 3, not grenade the bike, not get it stuck, make moves?
Yeah, I think from the start of qualifying, I think we all realized that we were going to roll everything. And between qualifying and the racing, it didn't really seem like they touched some of the rhythms. So I think if you could bust a double out here and there, if you could, it was sweet and you could make a lot of time. But for me, I was rolling everything. Once they changed the triples to the doubles, I was doing those. So I was like, my wheels are not leaving the ground. I was trying to be cool, calm, and collected the whole time. But yeah, I mean, obviously they dozed some parts of the track, and you could see that. But it was really just so you could cross the ruts. Once a lap went by, they were back to normal, and if you get stopped, I think you're getting stuck there. So I was trying to figure out, for one, I was trying to figure out who was in front of me, and 2, I was just trying to keep my cool. I knew some mistakes were going to come up, and I felt like if I just, kept riding my own race and didn't push where I needed, I didn't need to push more than I needed to, and I felt like I could just be solid. I could start clicking a couple guys off, and I took advantage of a few mistakes actually, and that's where I got in the lead, and I was like, all right, I just need to put solid laps in, and as long as I'm consistent, I mean, I should be good. And yeah, with the race only being 8 minutes, that was definitely, when you're winning, that's definitely sweet. But yeah, my mechanic was giving me time on the board, and once he gave me 3 minutes to go, I was like, shoot, we're getting pretty deep in lappers, and there's bodies everywhere. So I was just like, dude, can we just get this thing over with already? But yeah, it was a bit catastrophic because I was way outside on the start, and halfway down the straight, I'm getting splattered, so I'm pulling tire offs, hear the crowd go off. I obviously don't know what's going on inside of me, so seeing all that, and then I came around the corner in 4th or 5th, and I was like, this isn't half bad. So yeah, there was just a lot going on.
Scott.
Colin, obviously Gage mentioned not knowing what position he was in. I think you alluded to earlier that you knew you were in second. At what point did you realize you had the second place position?
It was pretty early because, I got a really good start. I think I started in second. And so I'll be honest, there for a second, I'm like, dude, I got a shot to win this thing. Because in the heat race, I kind of, just being a heat race and it being a mud race, I'm like, dude, honestly, I just need to focus on getting in the main event because I had a couple bobbles and dropped back to 7th. So I'm like, once I was in 7th in the heat, I kind of rode just timid and tight, just didn't want to crash. And then Heath had told me, he's like, dude, if you get a start, you're on the podium. And I was like, all right, let's do it then. And I ripped the start. And the last time I was here in Foxborough, I pulled the whole shot and led my first ever lap of my career. So just had a good vibe. And I was sitting there on the gate like, dude, it's going to come down to the start. And like I said, came out second. And there for a second, I'm like, dude, I got a shot to win this thing. And Chance kind of blew past me, and I'm like, yeah, okay, maybe I don't have a shot to win. But so then, I got in a second, and I had no idea who was behind me, so I was trying to push, and then my mechanic told me 2 laps to go, and I'm like, yeah, I got this thing. Now I just need to kind of chill and make sure I don't crash. So, for the most part, the whole race, I knew where I was at.
Just a quick note on the wireless mics floating around the room. If you could hold the mic a little bit higher, the transmitter's on the bottom. That may help with some of our connectivity issues. Not your fault. Mitch Kendra.
Mitch Kendra with Racer X. We'll go to Gage on this one. I believe you had some changes to your program, your training program and everything. Can you talk about that? And then training at the track. I'm sure there's days where it's tough and you don't have that belief in yourself. And you mentioned not having the best results. How do you push through that as well as changing training programs? Just talk about all that.
Yeah, for sure. So a lot of guys know I was training with Ezra Lusk last year, and through the off season, I continued with him, and something came up, and we just couldn't get him as much as we wanted to, so we transitioned trainers. Nothing against him. I still think he's one of the best trainers out there, and still really good friends with him. So, but yeah, I transitioned to Mike Brown, and I train at the Triumph facility. Thankfully, those guys let me ride there and train with them, and at the off season, like it's been good, and my practice speed at the track has been really good. Like I can compete with those guys, and I just haven't been as close to them at the races as I should be. So that's definitely a bummer. But it's just been going back to work every week and trying to close the gap on the weekends and just riding like I do at the practice track. And so.
We're going to open it up to our media online. Jamie Guida.
Jamie Guida, Vital next. I'm going to go to Gainesville as well. You're talking about limited resources as a privateer riding for a team like Dirt Bike Depot. Track conditions like tonight and what we may see next week, how much does that affect a guy like you that doesn't have all the resources of a factory team?
Yeah, no, it's huge. Like I said, before going to the main event, I even, questioned racing because is it worth, messing the bike up and not having the resources to get it finished for next weekend? But, I can't lie. That was kind of contemplating my mind. And then after the crash in the first turn, it was really close to, calling it and saving the bike. And, I knew I couldn't do that. I can't quit. And, but no, it's huge as a privateer to make the bikes go all season because, like you said, we don't have the resources to, get engines and stuff like that. So,
thanks, man.
Ryan.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan. It's a Cyclist. I'm going to go to Chance on this one. No secret, the Honda team this year has had some struggles with Hunter and Jet, but you and Joe are holding it down for the 250 guys. What's it like to reward them with a win this time around?
Yeah, it's a big deal. Unfortunately, I carry a lot of weight on my shoulders. Honestly, it is actually a good position to be in, but these guys have been, been my biggest supporters through all my struggles, and being able to reward them with something like this, especially with the last couple of weekends I've had being a little bit of a struggle, it's a big deal, especially for my family and I. It's just a big deal. Like I said, they've seen me at my lowest, and I guess the whole team around, we've been working our butts off to get here, and there's been a lot of patience all around, just kind of letting me figure it out. So I'm glad I could reward them like this.
Nick Still.
Yeah, thank you. Nick Still with MotoOnline.com. This will be for Colin. Colin, you mentioned the nerves throughout the last laps of the main event. Take us a little bit earlier in this afternoon, the first qualifying session. You guys get one look at the track. You've got to go put a time in. For you guys, what's that like? How different is that to go, okay, I've got to go race pace straight away, get a time in before this track deteriorates too much?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the trickiest part about only having the one practice is not knowing how the track actually is on, like, what to jump. Like, you're kind of just sitting there, like, and then you watch the Group C guys, and they're pretty much almost jumping everything. And I went out there first lap, and I'm like, I don't know if I got this finish line right now. Like, this thing's a little sketchy. So I actually qualified, I think, 10th in Group A, and then I was P27 overall. I was low-key kind of stressing making the night show there for a second. So, to end up second on the night's nice and rewarding. But, it's really tough. Like, you just have to go out there, and track position's huge there when it's one practice like that, and try to not get roosted. And it's obviously really hard to do when it's that muddy. But, the track crew did the best that they could. I wish we could have just started the day super early at like 10 a.m. and get some riding in and then kind of just let the track go from there. I mean, the track was already pretty bad for the main event, so I don't think it could get much worse than that, if I'm being honest. So it would have been nice probably just to start the day a little bit earlier and ride a dry track for qualifying, but it's okay. We all had to ride the same thing.
Congratulations to the three of you. Well done.
Thank you.
Nick B.
Thanks, Haley. Nick B. with Winners Take Y'all. This question's for Chance. Could you give us a scoop on your gate pick? Like, is that something that you decide or you and your mechanic decide, or was there any dissension with where you're going to start tonight? Because it obviously worked out for you. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you. Me and Dan Truman had a little conversation about it, and for the heat races, they don't open up the very inside and very outside gates. They open up for the LCQs, so that very outside gate only had 2 races on it, and the way the track was after the whoops section, all the mud was getting pushed to the inside of the track. So I figured if I could get out and get a good jump, I would get good drive halfway down the straight, and that could give me a little bit of edge going into the first corner. So, and also for me where I was at, I don't really have anything to lose. So it's one of those. It's a big risk to take, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And for me, it worked. So it's always cool when you can take a big risk like that and it works out.
Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff Beaver, Whiskey Throttle Media. Congratulations to all three of you. I just kind of want to know, a couple of you guys, first podiums here, what's kind of going to be your post-race celebration? You know, how are you going to let loose after this?
For me, I mean, I honestly have a ton of family here. I probably have a group of 15 of them here. I'd love to go out and celebrate, but we got 3 more races, so I'll probably be pretty level-headed and head back, maybe eat some Five Guys. I saw that's pretty close to my hotel, so maybe chow down on that.
Yeah, I'm probably in the same boat. Probably hit a sports bar on the way back and get a big burger. It's probably where I'm at. Cheat on the diet a little bit, so yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I'll probably just go back to the hotel and grab a Coke or something. I got to get up at 5 for the flight, so nothing crazy.
Thank you so much. That's all we have time for the 250 Eastern Division. Again, your big winner tonight, Chance Hymas, Cullen Park, and Gage Linville. And up next, if you'll stick around, we do have our SMX Next top 3. You guys will give me a big round of applause for Cade Johnson, your winner, Landon Gordon, and Luke Fauser. Cade, we'll start with you. You have a really interesting story. Give us the timeline of 2025 for you. From my understanding, there was an injury. You didn't race until Birmingham, and now here. So give us the roadmap.
Well, I went to Glendale, but I got injured the second practice, unfortunately, which was kind of sad. But we drove all the way back home, started training. We raced Spring Nationals, and then I was able to race Birmingham. Birmingham was my first one. I ended up 7th. I didn't get a very good start, but I had a good ride. So, but then we come up to this race, and my goggles were messed up for qualifying, so I didn't qualify great. But I knew that all you have to do is get a good start and just be consistent. So I went out there, and that's what I did. We were all crashing. I think I crashed twice. These boys crashed for sure a few times. It was hectic, but yeah, I'm excited.
It was hectic, but the battles made for one of the best races of the night. We'll open it up to the media. Scott.
Scott Yarjo Moto now. Landon, you crashed on the first lap. Did you have any idea that you came all the way through to first? And then how did you feel once you crashed again?
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty stoked on my start. Great start. And, I just got a little too antsy the first lap and big mistake. And then I came around the finish line and then over the next double, and I actually got stuck there again. So I knew I was pretty close to dead last, So, I just put my head down and I knew I was getting close because I seen a lot of kids get stuck, and but I didn't really know. My mechanic gave me, I think he told me I was in 3rd place, maybe 4th lap, and so I knew I was getting close. But a real heartbreak there that last lap. I was happy with my riding, and I was pretty stoked.
Mitch.
Mitch Kendrith, Racer X. This one, if you could all three answer it. Knowing there was going to be expected weather and maybe a tough track, was there one thing you had an emphasis on this weekend? Whether it was a good start getting out front or standing up more, or special technique? Like, could you point to one thing that you needed to focus on when the gates were going to drop?
Start. Just start. Like my buddy Lance Colbush, he did pretty well. He told me just get out front, and obviously the track crew prepped a lot of the sections, but they pushed like mush over super deep ruts, so it was extremely hard to see what was going on, and that's being out front. So it was super important to get out a good start, get out of the commotion. So it was just you. If you made a mistake, which I crashed twice, and both times were not directly my fault. There was a lapper down. So luckily I was able to get out of that commotion the first few laps. But yeah, I would say starts and then keeping the goggles clean, keeping goggles and hands clean.
Yeah, for sure the start, and yeah, it was for me just staying up because I mean that's a big part of it. But I almost went with the paddle tire just for the start, but it was just hard everywhere else around the track, so I didn't make that choice. But yeah, I still got the start, so that was clutch. But yeah, it was tricky out there.
Yeah, I'm basically just like good start, and I grew up in Western PA, so I'm familiar with the mud and how it goes with the rain and everything. I would never say I excelled at racing in the mud, but I grew up in it, so I knew how it went. And I just knew those first couple of laps were very crucial because I came off the gate, and I would never say the whole time I was ever like felt good or going fast. I just knew I didn't need to go down the first couple laps because there was kids jumping past me, and I ended up getting into second. I think at maybe even like the end of the first lap, like I didn't even hear anybody behind me, and I knew I had some space. And got through the moto. Did have a tip over, and tip overs are tough out there because the bikes are so heavy and your bike's stuck in the mud. But was able to get up, finish P3, so it was good.
Michael.
Thanks, Haley. Michael, with course heading. This would be for you, Luke. I've gotten to know you through your guys' stand over the last couple of years, and just to see what you guys do for your program to go everywhere. I know when you guys did the Red Bud Combine last year, and then you went straight to a Canadian National right after that. So how is it to reward everybody in your inner circle, but then KTM, the Orange Brigade, that has stuck by you through the last few years with 2 podiums in the last 2 races?
Yeah, so me and Sam Hurley, he started helping me out in the end of 2022, and he got a trailer for us, and we basically just drive everywhere. We were driving everywhere for a while, we wouldn't stay in one place for more than like 2 weeks, and that was also based off of Daniel Blair's advice too. He was really big on us just bouncing around, racing as much as we can, and we went and did the Canadian Series last year after the Combines, and it was really good. Right now we've been in the same place because it's good to bounce around, but it's also good to be in one spot for a while too, and that's what I've been doing now, and it seems to be working. So that's something that's doing good now, and that's what we're going to keep on doing, I think.
Scott, did you have another?
Question for all three of you. Racing Supercross is a unique experience in itself, but racing Supercross in conditions like this is something totally unlike anything I'm assuming you've ever ridden before. Have you ridden anything quite like this before in your...
I have not. I only got in Supercross in 2025, to be honest. I got a little bit of a late start, but and yet I've not rode mud on Supercross either. So it's not really like actually a Supercross track because just of how muddy it was. We were rolling everything. I mean, some pros obviously were doubling, and that's kind of a question that we had coming into the thing, was double or not, because it's the first 2 sections and it's pivotal. So, but you know, we decided not to, and I've rode mud before in like outdoors, but not necessarily on Supercross. So I would say probably not.
Yeah, being from California, yeah, you never see anything like that. Maybe an overwatered day at one of the Corona tracks, but yeah, nothing like that. That was completely different animal, and yeah, I mean, it was just a great experience though to just get that under your belt because I mean, you'll have a lot more of those as a pro. So yeah, it was a great experience.
Yeah, I got a little bit of a taste of it at Daytona last year. It was pretty muddy, but Daytona is different. You know, it's Supercross, but it's just different. And this dirt and track condition was way more tackier and muddier. So I'd say this is the first real stadium and mud race I've done on Supercross. And like Cade said, we were rolling around. It was just basically just stay up and try and follow the rut and roll as fast as you can.
Michael.
Yeah, this would be for Cade. You're a Texas guy. You can see like Swan is on your hat and your jacket. It's on your entry list and everything like that. So you can tell that you're a local guy. And I think that sticks out huge when you're next to a Team Green kid and then an Orange Brigade guy. So how important is this result for you yourself and then your program going forward? What do you think this does as you come out of these spring nationals and you guys have a big year ahead in the amateur stuff?
It gives me confidence and momentum into Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh should be awesome. We're going to go down. But yeah, Swan's helped me out a ton. It's under new ownership, so it's been awesome. My trainer, BJ Burns, just Altus, Yamaha, just everyone that's helped me in my corner has been awesome to help me get to this point. And my mechanics, Jay and Cohen, it was really hard on the bike. So just the whole inner circle, it's awesome for me. It's huge momentum, confidence. We're excited to go into Pittsburgh and train hard for it. So, yep.
Speaking of Texas, we'll hear from a fellow Texan, Jamie Guida.
Jamie Guida, Vital Next. Yeah, Anton stole my thunder. No, but Cade, I know you're riding at Swan a lot for moto, but where have you been training, your Supercross training? You said you haven't been doing it very long. I don't think Swan has a Supercross track.
They have a little amateur one, but for Pro Supercross, I've been riding at Rafter S. It's the track with me and Lance. Honestly, until before Birmingham, like I rode with Lance a little bit right before Birmingham, but until that point, I'd only rode a Supercross track by myself. So I'm progressing at a good rate that I would like to be for my training. But Rafter, I rode at Oak Hill. I rode at Texas Tornado. But honestly, that's I think those are like the only 3 tracks that I've rode. I rode in a Bubba Polly's place in Illinois before this race, but that's it. So I'm having a little experience, but we're trying to go to different tracks to get kind of the taste of Supercross, because like at Supercross you show up, and especially at this race, you only get a few practices to get used to all the rhythms and combinations. So it's good practice going to a new track and doing like race day simulations and such.
Good job.
Nick Still.
Yeah, thank you. Nick Still with MotoOnline.com. This will be for Cade. Cade, you guys were first on the track this afternoon, 13th in qualifying for you. Managed to turn that into a win. Just take us through, okay, when I last seen the track, and now I'm back on it a few hours later, this thing is completely different. Just take me about your thoughts and then those opening laps. Are you surprised at how it formed up? Was what you expected? Just take us through, your thoughts.
That's about what I expected. Whenever I was getting dressed and ready for the main, I was watching the 250 heats, so I kind of had a general feel. The question was double or not, so the track was about what I expected. It was extremely gnarly. So qualifying, I my analytics coach came up to me and was like, it's gonna be nothing like qualifying. So we were just looking at lines and possible things we could do, which I felt like my line choice was pretty solid. I was just trying to keep it smooth and consistent lines, and honestly lines that I didn't have to fry the clutch, because I have a cable clutch and it tightened up a lot and I couldn't roll it back. It was mud got stuck in there, so I was trying not to fry the clutch. I probably did anyway, but it was the track was about what I expected. But you don't see the lines, like I said, they tilled a lot of the track before. I mean, not tilled, they box bladed or whatever they did, and so you're just going into sections and you don't know if it's going to be fully prepped or what it's going to be. So
Jeff.
Hey, this question's for Fowler. This is Jeff Beaver, Whiskey Throttle Media. You've really been very, very consistent so far in SMX, and I know the last one you just said a lot of guys were crashing. You were going to let the race come to you. I'm assuming that was kind of your thought process tonight. Who have you been training with? I mean, kind of tell us about yourself a little bit.
Yeah, so I've been riding Supercross for like a year now consistently, and I started off on Supercross, like my first day was with Daniel Blair. And then I spent a full month in September last year with Daniel. And then I spent more time at Next Level in South Carolina, like his place where he used to be at. And then this past 3 months, I've been with Brandon Hartraft at Moto Sandbox. So we ride Moto Sandbox tracks, and we have a good group. I mean, it's me for a month or two. Is me, Clark Robbins, Landon Hartz, other guys in the class, and I mean, like Kenny, Levi Kitchen, they all ride there. So it's really good riders, really good tracks, and Brandon's been great. I think we're really building here, and yeah, just building up some consistency. We started off a little slow, but we've been working and doing better. So yeah.
Congratulations to all three of you.
Thank you.
Last chance for anyone in the room. Any more questions we have from the floor? No? All right. Well, thank you so much, gentlemen. Good luck at the next round. We'll see you in Pittsburgh for the finale. Well, thank you. This has been round 12. Have a good night, everyone. Thanks for being here.